Greetings. My name is Matt Creamer, also known as Nor and Rad in the internet community. I made music for Retro City Rampage.
Alright. So what kind of game is Retro City Rampage?
It kind of defines, or defies title at a certain point, but it's basically Grand Theft Auto meets Super Mario Brothers meets like everything you remember from the 80s and the 90s. So it's a bit of a mishmash, but it's an open world sort of adventure game that is heavily, it's comedic. It's a very funny game.
What's it rated?
It was rated T, actually.
Okay.
So it's a heavily referential game. Visually, obviously, it'll reference music videos, it'll reference other video games, it'll reference other movies. But it also references, like, at times, the audio from those things, audio from other movies, audio from games. Sometimes at the same time for, like, just a double whammy effect.
How many tracks would you say you composed?
Personally, I just rounded them all up before I came down to E3. It was 64 tracks for an hour and 9 minutes of music.
That's a lot.
There's 3 artists on the game. I think it's almost 3 hours of music altogether. It's all authentic NES chip tunes, so we actually imposed limitations on ourselves to make it sound authentic rather than just using sounds that are similar. So, because, I mean, Brian went to all the trouble to create an engine that, it is an 8-bit engine, so we had to sort of follow suit. So the game is a labor of love on both, like, his programming side, his writing side, and, like, the musicians doing the audio. I think his whole goal, like, when he first made this project, like 7 years ago, it was like a homebrew NES version of Grand Theft Auto 3, like a recreation of it. And it ran on an emulator, like it was an actual NES game. So I think at one point, as I've heard him tell the story, he just, you know, he wanted it to be fun. So at some point, like, he had to realize, like, it is fun when you jump on enemies' heads like Mario. Like, why don't I add all sorts of stuff like that in the game? And so as a result, like, the game has, like, very little that isn't fun for the sake of fun, you know, like, the game is fun. It's an 8-bit game, but it has modern concepts in it, so things like taking cover and strafing around enemies, like, it's stuff you've never seen in an 8-bit game, and I know I play a lot of 8-bit games. That's what's kind of charming about this, is that he's actually taken, like, coming up here, a cover system is in this game, so you actually take cover where you don't get hit by bullets. And, like, even though your guy's only so-and-so pixels tall, like, it's actually represented in the art. So that's, like, a modern concept. And then, right after it, I'm bopping on people's heads like Mario, so it's... Okay, yeah, there's pick up and throw, I forgot about that.
So everything does something, but for the most part it...
Oh yeah, and Y is enter vehicle. That should be completely familiar to anyone who's ever stolen a car in a video game.
Absolutely.
While I'm in here, this is something I find endlessly entertaining. Brian's added in little bezels to the game that are all different. And this one here, I just noticed today, basically makes it look exactly like the Game Boy on the Super Game Boy.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if I should be showing that, but we'll just do that anyways. But yeah, something, I don't know why I love it, but I love that is in the game.
What platforms is it coming to?
D3 is publishing it for the 360. It's also coming out on PSN, PS Vita, the Wii, Steam, and I think that's it. I might be missing it, but basically it's a lot.
That is a lot. What about mobile phones, no?
I haven't heard that, but I can't confirm that. I don't think so.
Okay. And how long have you guys been working on this particular form of the game, the Xbox Live Arcade one?
When Brian signed me on, it was about 2 years ago, and the game was nearly finished at that point, but there were some delays in the process, so as a result, he's taken more time to polish the game and also add more stuff to the game, and as a result, I've had like at least 30 minutes of additional music created for the game because of those delays and things like that. And it was a finished game before, so it's only gotten, I guess, more complete.
Have you scored any console games before this one?
No, this would be the first one. It was an interesting path to actually get into this. I made NES music in my free time, so when a game was coming out that needed authentic NES music, and Brian also is in my hometown of Vancouver, so it was a no-brainer to actually get us involved. Also, the other musicians, Freaky DNA and Bert. Bert is probably the most prolific NES chiptune artist on the earth. I don't know of anyone more prolific than him. And he got me involved in making chiptunes. So the fact that he was signed onto this project was like, it's a big deal for me to also be involved, because I think Bert kind of paved the way for a lot of chiptune people.
I'm enjoying the modern renaissance of chiptunes.
Yeah. It's funny, in 2002, all my friends, they'd be like, yeah, you make Nintendo music, you should put it in games. And I'd be like, no one wants chiptunes in games. Like, people actually don't like these right now. Like, in 2002, it wasn't something, like, people were embarrassed when they heard it. It's sad, but it's true. Like, I would play them for people and they'd be like, but nowadays, like, it's funny that there's a game now that, like, it needed 8-bit chiptunes. It's kind of a nice full circle on that.
Perfect.